Who cares? We came to the show called Harmontown. We care. Shut up. You should care more about our guest tonight. Let's bring him up and start.
What's your wristband? On your right hand?
Oh, what is this?
Were you in the hospital recently?
Oh, God. I was in the middle of...
Oh, that's right. I'm dying.
I was having... what is this from? Oh, this is from Harris's memorial. Humble brag.
Good job.
Sorry.
They had that's worth noting in the diary of our lives. They had a really wonderful memorial at the Upright Citizens Brigade new space, which on paper I would have thought, like, I don't want to go to this, but I knew Aaron would want to be there, and I was like, I'm gonna go. Also, I should be there, but I wouldn't have gone. Do you know what I mean? But I'm glad I did, because it was really it really hit you, like, the importance of a memorial service. Like, it was just a flood of stories about a person that is gone now, and it was like you're just laughing the whole time. It's just like, what an amazing guy, and it really helped. It really helped atone, somehow, I don't know, just squeezed you out a little bit. There's a lot of people walking around kind of shell shocked, and then you listen to these stories, and I don't know, it just works. I don't get it. I guess the Neanderthals invented it, the idea of a funeral. So why are we questioning? Why did I think it wasn't a good idea to go? But it was nice, and I have a bracelet on from it. And
were you afraid that because it was a comedy thing that it might not be sincere, or that
I was afraid of. I have social anxieties being around people. First of all, I don't understand death, and I'm afraid of it and coping with it. I don't know how to talk to people under normal circumstances. I don't know how to small talk. There is no such thing as small talk at a memorial. My usual path through conversation to avoid my avoidance of small talk is to kind of talk about whatever's really going on. Whatever's really going on it's not a fucking safe area at a memorial, because you don't know. If you're talking to a Parks and Rec guy, you can't be presumptuous about how grief-stricken someone must be. You don't know. You're trying to calculate how hard did this person get hit, and what right do I have to say anything? And I don't want to think about stuff like that. I have to think about stuff like that too much, just normally. The therapist said, don't think about that stuff. Just speak in truths that cannot be. Just bring some Kleenex. Be the Kleenex guy. And say, no matter how ridiculous it sounds, and no matter how repetitive it sounds, this is terrible. Really? This is terrible? You're supposed to say that at a function? But I tried doing it. It worked on Adam Scott. That's when I really leaned into it. I remember it was Adam Scott, and I said, this is terrible. And he's like, yeah, it is. This is hair. I felt like he did appreciate it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna just keep. This is awful. This is terrible. And Adam Scott was like, okay, you can stop now. But yeah, it was great. It was a great celebration.
Did you get up and speak?
No, of course not. No. I was just there to Aaron was close to him. Rob was very close to him, and I knew Harris, and I
didn't realize how close my close friends were. To him, I just met him a handful of times. I didn't realize how tight he and Rob were, and other friends of mine.
Yeah, it was pretty. I would, no exaggeration. I if you named a person that we knew, I would without knowing, I would bet that they knew him. He was just kind of everywhere.
I forgot that he sang at Rob's wedding with Sarah and Paul.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought your little. I guess if it was a eulogy that you did last show, it was very.
Well, that was my anger phase. There are other people are bargaining. That was me being angry at anti-drug people, and now I'm getting towards acceptance, which is the scariest thing in the world, because you don't want somebody to be dead. So. All right, now that we warmed up the stage for Booger, my affection for this guy is unparalleled, and I've been so excited about having him on the show for so long. Even if only it was because he had been such such an indelible presence in so many formative movies when we were growing up. So many reasons that I'm out here in this city. But also just now in the modern world, he's also doing some work I admire because he's executive producing like one of the only kind of semi-honest reality shows that's on TV that we can talk about a little bit. So let's bring him out. Curtis Armstrong is here. Take any of those, yep, wherever you're comfortable.
Hi, thank you.
Hello.
Thanks for playing me in.
Yeah. Well, we had to kind of brighten the mood after that last 10 minutes.
Yeah, I know. I was really getting sad back there.
You were supposed to listen. Oh, God.
No, it's okay.
Well,
it's
yeah.
Oh, my.
You didn't happen to know Harris Wittels, did you?
I did not. I never worked with him.
No.
I never met him even.
Yeah, it was a yeah, whatever, man. Well, it's like just stories from him in the writer's room being said at a memorial. That's like what hits home because it's like you're in an audience of workaholics, like, so everyone spends 16 hours a day in a certain environment, and then you're hearing about this guy who kind of shot through that environment, and like it just raises all these questions about what the fuck are we doing, which was a common theme. And I think Matt Besser, who went up early on, who's a renowned curmudgeon, and but he really, like, it was the perfect eulogy for anybody, let alone somebody that you could have taken it and put it in any wake, and it would have been very inspiring. But it was really apropos to this guy that passed. But it was all about that concept of what was this thing that made them special that we didn't notice when they were around, and now that they're gone, what just how can this person live within us, and can we? And it really, I was really taken with all these stories about him because the constant theme was how little a shit he gave, how he gave zero fucks, and maybe that hurt him in the end, but it also clearly I was like, what the fuck was I doing the entire time that he was around? Why was I over here doing something different, like playing this game of how am I driving with the audience, when this guy was suffering under the yoke of mainstream perceptions and just spent every job that he went to and kept getting promoted. He's one of those superstars that would come to work and then show up late, and no one gave a fuck because if they fired him, their show would get unfunny. And he just spent his career bursting at the seams, whatever seams were around him. And I was that guy at one point, at some point, and then I started tweeting, and then I turned into a fucking weird half Mr. Rogers, half asshole, constantly. By the way, how are you? What's your name? And
sorry, Curtis. That's all the time we have. Curtis Armstrong.
Thank you.